Hello, everyone. Hello, Lydia. Good afternoon, good morning to absolutely everyone. It's a big pleasure to have you with us. Lydia, thank you for joining from Washington, D.C. It's very important to have today the executive director of the U.S. Libya Business Association, which is a very specific one for business support between both markets. It's very important for us that you're here today. Thank you for the trust. How is everything?
Everything's well. Thank you for having me on the show, and I look forward to getting into the weeds of U.S. Libya business.
Perfect. Lydia, this we're going to stay here for the next 30 minutes also with our audience because there are many people that have been engaging with a big project of ours coming very soon, which is the fifth energy conference happening in Cairo in December this year. We have people that have enrolled from all across the world. We're talking about private sector, institutions, energy regulators. And there is the appetite to understand more and more how certain associations have been developing and supporting the growth of the market, which is a very famous and very attractive market for a very long time, as we all know. But it's going to be very interesting if we can today dive a little bit into what your association does in terms of supporting trade and supporting business opportunities between American companies and obviously the American markets with the Libyan market. It will be fantastic to understand a bit better the ins and outs of what is your daily and your weekly activity. But maybe I'll just give you the floor very shortly before so you can introduce yourself in whatever way you believe it's best for everyone here present.
Sure. My name is Lydia Jabs. I've been at the helm of U.S. Libya for the last 7 years, during which time we've seen a reinterest of American companies in Libya, and it's been fabulous to watch. I hope it continues to grow. As you said, Libya is an attractive market for a variety of different reasons, and there's certainly space for everyone. I think conferences such as the one that's coming up in Cairo are a great opportunity to showcase those opportunities and to bring together the major stakeholders from across the world that can make these business projects a success and develop tangible growth for the Libyan people as well.
Thank you, Lydia. 100%. Interest has picked up again in the past few years. Obviously, we just want to understand what would be more specific support and how associations at this point can help the private sector to navigate and to make the most out of those opportunities that have been rising more and more often, especially in the last couple of years. And so the next few questions will be about your association's input, your association's development and framework. And maybe we can start even with a broader understanding of what does the U.S. Libya Business Association offer to its members and what are your primary objectives? I think we can start from there.
Sure. So the U.S. LBA was founded in 2005 during the détente period between the U.S. and the Libyan government. It was fully industry started by the interest of private companies who are looking to return to Libya. And it was supported by Libyan government officials here in Washington and at the UN in New York. The association today is dedicated to enhancing the economic and business relationship between the United States and Libya. So our primary objectives include supporting our member companies in resolving commercial and regulatory challenges, facilitating valuable networking opportunities, and advocating for policies that foster bilateral trade and investment. We aim to be a reliable partner for businesses navigating the complexities of the Libyan market while promoting sustainable growth and the Libyan market itself.
Perfect. Sorry, do you want to add anything?
No, that's just a brief overview.
Perfect. I think that a few things that you mentioned are absolutely crucial when it comes to the decision of American companies to either venture into Libya or the ones that already decided that they were going to farm in and make a move. What's the best way to go about it? How should they connect to the market and make the most out of this entrance from a very early stage? You mentioned a few things that are extremely important in that exercise to actually go successfully into a market and start operating as best as possible, such as advisory on the legislation side or supporting with networking opportunities, because of course, business partnerships come very often from that activity itself. So I think maybe we can start going one by one, a little bit more into that. In terms of strategic goals, what has been, or what do you think that is going to be the impact over the next 3 years? And how would you plan to achieve them? Maybe touching back exactly what you mentioned, there are key factors on that support.
So one of our major goals as an association is to drive membership growth. So we want to see a diverse range of companies invested in the U.S. Libya economic relationship, and companies that understand the opportunities that are available and that are dedicated to long-term partnerships with the Libyan government, the Libyan private sector, and the Libyan people. To that end, and this is a message for all companies that are considering entering the Libyan market, do your research. You must understand the challenges and complexities that are present, but it's fully possible to navigate these successfully and quite lucratively, to be honest. So that in doing your research, you need to find a trusted Libyan partner, whether it's a senior government official, a government body that you're doing business with, or a Libyan private sector company. There are great Libyan companies out there, great Libyan individuals, and choosing your partner is one of the most important factors for success. So at the association, we help identify those partners. We can support through government advocacy. We're committed to strengthening our efforts to influence policies that support bilateral trade. But this process involves partnering with the U.S. government and the Libyan government bodies to streamline regulatory processes and ensure a more business-friendly environment overall.
Exactly. Lydia, I think you touched a point that is extremely important, which is the importance of selecting the right partner when going into a new market that maybe you don't have full visibility or lots of experience beforehand. That applies to Libya, that applies to many oil and gas markets across the world. And that's always one of the top key benefits that associations like yours can perform, especially if, as you say, your goal or one of your main goals is to drive membership growth in a market that is wanting and it's clearly looking forward to grow further, to develop further. So looking into this membership growth that you were mentioning, and now that you just made a call to action to any companies that might be present here today, could we maybe dive a bit further into how you have supported member companies or stakeholders so far in resolving commercial issues or navigating complex regulatory environments in the past since you were formed back in 2005, I believe you said?
Yeah. So the majority of U.S. investment in Libya at present is done with bodies connected to the Libyan government. So for issues stemming from bureaucratic backlog or payment issues, we connect our companies to the correct government partners so they can resolve the issues directly. We also pen advocacy notes on our own and pressure our contacts to make sure that the environment remains friendly for U.S. investment. But we buttress this by ensuring that the U.S. government is echoing our concerns in their dialogues with Libyan counterparts. When it comes to new opportunities, we try to ensure that everyone is properly vetted and that companies have the appropriate intelligence before pursuing a project.
Perfect. I suppose that also the networking activities that you were mentioning, they are a big core of what is it that you organize and that you provide to your members. These networking options, they're one of the most key and crucial points when it comes to gathering intelligence, understanding the market, knowing who to talk to whenever there's a specific situation happening at any given point. So about these networking opportunities, how would you facilitate them? How do they look like? What specific activities or formats would you implement when you're organizing them? How does the association approach this type of benefit?
Sure. Well, networking is a cornerstone of our strategy at U.S. LBA. We host about monthly events for our members. Those are usually or either high-profile meetings with U.S. or Libyan officials or thought leaders. We do regular expert roundtables where we invite our companies to come in and ask questions about the political situation with the plethora of Libya experts out there. And we do these events hybrid because our members are based all over the world, as are many Libyan experts. And that kind of caters to our diverse membership base. But We also facilitate direct connection. So if company A comes to me with a problem and I know company B dealt with the same issue last year, I will connect them because, you know, the investment community in Libya is small, and it's not so much a competition as it is a relay to the finish. We encourage our members to attend industry events and conferences, such as the 5th Libya Energy Conference. And part of the strategy is partnering with organizations like INVR, just to ensure that our companies are aware of these events and their importance.
Thank you, Lydia. This is very appreciated from our side, especially because I would say that not only in Libya but across the world, NVR has had this position of ensuring that exactly for exchange of thoughts, for knowledge exchange, to case studies in certain situations, how the private sector can communicate and try to understand what has been done in other situations. For all of those purposes, indeed, some networking events are extremely important, not just the conference that you have just mentioned, which is happening between the 3rd and the 5th. Of December. I'm sure we have a team on the chat that could provide a bit more insights. It's a very important initiative for the market because many things are happening now upstream wise, but also in terms of financing opportunities in the market. And so not only will we have with you the conference that you're partnering as well, the conference in December, but also until we arrive there, there's a sort of a stimulation of discussions and platforms for quick investors receptions that we organize throughout the year, namely in Tripoli or in London or in several markets, which is also going to be made public very, very soon. And so we agree with you 100% that this is something that the private sector can only benefit from whenever trying to venture into a market that can be as profitable, but also sometimes as complex as Libya. So this is a fantastic initiative.
Yeah, it's great.
Please.
It's great to hear that you guys are complementing the conference with additional networking events. I think that can only serve to enlighten all parties.
Thanks. Lydia, going back to you then. When it comes to sharing information or to helping the companies in the private sector to stay up to date of whatever is happening extremely soon in the market, it means that you need to be on top of those latest trends and those innovations. And so the question is, how can the association ensure that it's on top of it, and how do you have access to first-hand information that then you can communicate to your members and communicate to the companies that would benefit from it? How does that work usually?
Sure. Well, U.S LBA and myself, having worked in the industry for quite some time, have developed a network of contacts across the country, across the globe, all of which are watching the situation in Libya very closely. And I'm blessed to have these friends and these contacts where we can trade information and get up-to-date, day-to-day intelligence that helps inform our company's decisions as they move forward. We also have a wonderful partner, Garda World, which supports U.S LBA and provides their on-ground intelligence to us. Mm-hmm. And we can disseminate that amongst our members and just further their knowledge. But broadly speaking, U.S LBA was founded at the National Foreign Trade Council here in Washington. So we've always had a solid basis in international trade more generally. Our location allows us to attend think tank events, policy conferences, and to witness the actual legislative process surrounding economic policy and international trade in the U.S. So while trade and investment in Libya is a unique situation, we look at our actions as grounded in the broader context of globalization and the world at large.
Fantastic. I think that that's a very big variety or a big span of sources and, trustful sources that you can count on a daily basis. I'm sure that companies would benefit immensely from that. Companies that belong to absolutely any association, overall speaking, that's very important. Now, we're talking about networking or first-hand information or the necessity to understand how to navigate a certain business environment and a certain on-the-ground or below-the-ground risk in every single market, this case in Libya. We know that all these initiatives that you provide or that we can provide or a partnership can provide, we know that they have a certain impact when it comes to smoothing up the entrance of new business in a market. The question is, how do we measure that impact? So when we look at everything that we put on the table to the private sector, U.S. LBA to its members or us to our network, what would you say that would be the criteria that we can anchor ourselves on if we want to understand what is the benefit that actually is being left behind in the long term to the private sector?
Sure. To start, I'll focus on U.S. LBA as the foremost and longest standing organization supporting U.S. Libya. I take pride in the fact that anytime a Libyan politician or thought leader visits Washington, they always make it a point to visit with U.S. LBA. And I think that speaks volumes to our weight on the ground in Libya and here in Washington as well. But first and foremost, we are a membership-based organization, and we rely on the support and confidence of our members. I'm grateful to their unwavering support over the last few years, but I'd like to think we make a difference in their business too. In just the last, in just the last 7 years I've been at USLBA, we've seen the fulfillment of back payments of over $12 million to U.S. member companies, and at least the integration or the entry of 3 new companies to the Libyan market in the last 2 years. So as long as there are still members and new companies investing in Libya, I would say that organization is relevant and thriving. Coming out of the conference, looking at how to measure success, I would say in new business deals that are struck, in partnerships that are extended, and of course, new market entries.
Fantastic. This is also something that is always very present with the team, exactly as you said. For example, the number you just mentioned, 3 new companies coming from the United States to the Libyan market so 3 new companies in the last couple of years. That's obviously a very fantastic result of continuous work that you do in order to try to grow that market within Libya. And it's something that we're going to be looking into to support to grow with the conference in terms of new market entry, as you just mentioned, from the US, from other markets that could be relevant to the country, because at the end of the day, the more the merrier in terms of establishing an ecosystem that allows everyone to perform a bit more efficiently, everyone to have more options. Competition can also bring good factors into the overall equation in order to make everything flow in a better way. And in a way that is best case by case to everyone involved. So I think that's fantastic. Congratulations for you guys. I just want to give you the floor for any final remarks that you want to add. We talked about how do you benefit companies that are members of your association, what type of networking or activities do you put on the table, what kind of advisory, what are your goals, what can new members expect from you, what has been happening with other members coming into Libya. Is there anything else that we're missing to touch upon that maybe you think is an important thought for companies here with us today?
I just want to harp back on your points about the more the merrier. Libya has ambitious goals for its oil and gas sector, and certainly it can achieve them, but only with trusted partnerships that are going to come from all over the globe. And there's really room upstream, downstream, midstream, in any point of the process for new companies to come in and make a difference, help Libya achieve their goals, and have a profitable investment at the same time.
Fantastic. Well, then I think that this will be it. I agree with you fully. I think that there are some aspects that need to be looked upon or looked at. I also believe that this posture of the current government to incentivize and to endorse and to create and to stand along more platforms for discussion, for information delivery, already means a lot. As we all know, Libya has been announcing some big projects coming in. We have had some good news in the past few months. Libya is indeed looking into welcoming more upstreamers, more oil and gas companies. There has been a lot of investment going towards capacity building, infrastructure, easing so the process of companies to jump on it, which of course you're going to be extremely aware of, so then you communicate it towards your new members. And I believe that this is the overall conclusion that we can take for now. And then we wait until December to see what is going to be the concrete information, the concrete set of activities that we're going to be seeing in Cairo, with your support, with our partner support. And of course, thank you for that. Lydia, I'm going to just check very quickly our chat just to see if we have anything remaining from anyone before we conclude things. We do have an observation. Maybe I read it to you, and then you let me know what are your thoughts about a thought that was shared by Mr. Kais. So it goes with my observation in the recent years when contacting American companies in the States or in exhibitions. I noticed that many of them still convenience that Libya might be struggling with some sanctions, which make things a bit more complex. I believe it is essential to make U.S. companies aware of changes in sanctions on Libya. So this is a big topic that, of course, is going to help in terms of business and business facilitation. I don't know if you have any comments about any specific information that you always support the companies with in regards to that matter.
Sure. Well, this is part of my job, convincing U.S. companies that no, in fact, you can do business in Libya. So I think this was a valid point to bring up. If a company won't take my word for it, I always point them to the State Department. There are a variety of resources, both online and in direct contact, outlining the specific sanctions that do exist against Libya, but are not related to normal business activities and would not prohibit any company from entering the market as long as they are pursuing good business in line with U.S. government regulations. It's an issue that Libya in the U.S. doesn't have. It has a historical legacy that it has not yet surpassed. And I think the more good news that we hear from the country, the more we can do to change people's minds and educate them that Libya is a thriving and growing economy and it welcomes U.S. investment.
That's a fantastic final note. Thank you, Lydia. Thank you for the extra comment. For everyone here attending, once again, the U.S LBA has been a fantastic partner for the organization of such a conference, which is happening in December 3rd to the 5th in Cairo. It's going to happen for 3 weeks, being the first one exclusive for closer partners, sponsors, investors, speakers. And so it goes with a few extra workshops organized with the NOC. And then we jump into a couple of days to discuss everything that is happening new in Libya, all the way through from upstream through the value chain, covering upstream infrastructure, financing, midstream, gas opportunities, legislation, capacity building, the regulatory framework that is currently present in the country, in order to try to ensure that whatever company they're established or thinking of establishing, such as your members, Lydia, that they have a better overview and they can take a more informed decision about what they would like to do next, starting already in early 2025. So thank you, everyone. I hope that you have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining all the way from Washington, Lydia. And it was a pleasure.
Thank you for hosting me. It was wonderful.
Have a good one. Thank you, everyone.